Hi, this is Zach Summers. I'm here to discuss our comprehension vignettes that we have today for our reading the content area class. I chose a social studies one. That was kind of one that was maybe closely related to what I do or things that I know. So I went ahead with that one. With this, I found a few things that I really like. Number one, the graphic organizers, just any kind of organization piece, I think, for me who struggles with comprehension, with vocabulary a lot when I was in school and even now as a teacher, organizing your thoughts, organizing ideas, and putting that down on paper is something that really helps me, and it's something that I feel you can really compose your thoughts. You can put it on paper, you can see it on paper. From what you're thinking when you're reading, and I just think that's a big key if you're going to comprehend what it is that you're reading. A few other things that I saw was that syllabus from the reporter that kind of explained a very generalized summary of what was happening in those court documents. I think sometimes when you're going into history and you're talking about court cases such as this one, it can get confusing and it can be difficult to follow along with all the legal documents and what it means. And so I think having that summary and overview of something that maybe could get the kids thinking in the right direction to really dive into context after that, and I think that would help. I really, probably the number one thing I liked from this teacher that he did was have them organize their thoughts and use the word because. And this is something that I've never really thought of when you talk about reading comprehension, but I really think this is a main idea that I really like. I'm a strong believer in the why. It doesn't matter anything we do in education. Us as teachers, when maybe we're doing a PLC or maybe we're buying into PBIS or any other acronym that you can think of, teachers struggle with that because we don't know the why behind it. That's no different than students learning. Students are going to learn much more when they know what a why. What's the why? Why is this? Why is that? Why are we doing this? Why is this something we're studying? And I think when you're using the word because in this situation, this happened because of this. I think that's something that students can really get behind, and if they can answer those questions, there's your why. There's another reason to really dive into the material more and really get into what they're reading and understanding what they're reading. And I something I've never thought of before, and this is a great idea. This is something that I will use because I'm always looking for a why in my class for anything we do, because I think students are always looking for a why. I always say teachers and students are very similar, and it's really funny when we go to our professional developments and all our teachers get together and we look at each other and we act like students sometimes in those PDs, and we're no different. And if teachers want to know whys of what we're doing, obviously students are going to want to know the why of what they're doing. And when you talk about reading comprehension, if you don't know why, I don't really think the interest is going to be there, and I really don't think kids are really going to dive into material if they don't understand that why. Couple other things, he used paraphrasing a lot, had the kids take parts of the court and the court documents and then paraphrase in their own words. I think that's a very useful technique as well. I think when you can put things that might be complicated on paper and you can put them into your own words, or when he grouped his class together and had them in groups to do those things, I think that when they can come together and paraphrase and understand things in their language and the way that they understand things, I think comprehension really starts to take shape there. And then the last thing that I saw that was a big plus was when they switch partners. Maybe a couple people work together, same group works together, especially on this topic when you're talking about a court case, a historical court case. There could be a lot of opinions on this. And for the kids and the students, if they're switching partners, switching groups, and they're getting everybody in the class's opinions, I think they can really formulate a good answer and formulate good understanding of what they just read and what was wrote down in this historical case. So I think that was something that was key. What could have been done better? I'd say the number one thing, I'm a firm believer in no homework, not sending kids home with stuff, because I just really don't think kids grasp a full learning opportunity when they take things home. Either parents are doing it for them, they're not doing it, they're not capable of doing it. Home lives, who knows what they go home to. I really think anything we do should be done in the classroom. And this, just when we talked about switching partners, if you're going home by yourself, you're not getting anybody else's opinion, or you're not being able to formulate ideas or conclusions about what you've read when you're sitting there by yourself trying to do these things. I really think summaries, I really think wrap-ups, anything like that should still be done within the class, where questions can be asked, questions can be answered, students can answer questions that way. I just really believe in that. I think that's one thing that maybe wasn't done on this. But other than that, I think strategies were great. I think it was something that was a great lesson, and being able to organize their thoughts in those graphic organizers, and really asking the question because, so you can find the why. I think that's a successful lesson, and reading comprehension especially. If you can get a why, I think kids are going to buy into that. As for me, and I guess my last question with my confidence level and skill in incorporating content, as a physical education teacher and a health teacher, I do struggle with that a little bit. I don't do it all the time. It's something that maybe gets overlooked in my part of education. So it is something that it has to be a point of emphasis for me to be able to do that well. Just by instance, just looking at this assignment today and going into the tangent about the why of things, I never thought about something like that before, and it's probably something my students have missed out on. So I think it's something that I can do better with, and I think just some of these small little ideas that we've learned already in here are something you can take to the classroom with you and be able to implement into your class to do this, because reading comprehension is sometimes, with all our technology today, comprehension of anything really, not just reading, but anything you do is, I'm not sure it's a point of emphasis, and it should be, because comprehension on reading is obviously important, but I think comprehension of figuring things out. What is it that we're taking? What's this material we're taking? What's it mean? What can we do with it? What can we make with it? What can we learn from it? I think those are questions that need to be asked, and it's something that I need to do a better job of, and it's something that I'm going to move to in that direction to be able to do that in my classes.